Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jackson's Math Notebook. This is the first video in a series of videos comparing the greatest common factor to the least common multiple. The reason why we're doing both of them at the same time is that sometimes students get confused between the greatest common factor and the least common multiple. Well, at least I do. And so I thought it might be a good idea to compare them and see how they are similar and how they are different. And first, let's start with the greatest common factor of 27 and 45. And then after that, we're going to go into the least common multiple of 27 and 45. So first, let's get the prime factors of 27 and 45, in which we'll do it this way, in which we have 27. Let's get the prime factors of 27. And we know that we can factor out a 3 because 3 times 9 will give us 27. And 9 is a composite number, if you remember from previous videos, and its prime factors are 3 as well. And I like to circle those prime factors. And so we have right here, the prime factors of 27 are 3 times 3 times 3. And that's what we're going to put right here so we can get the greatest common factor of 27 and 45. The greatest common factor means is what is the highest factor that they have in common that can be divided into both 27 and 45. We're going to find that out a little bit later. And so we have 27 on this side, and we have, of course, 1 times 3 times 3 times 3. Now let's try 45, and we'll put the 45 on this side. And so we can factor out a 5 because 45 ends with a 5, and that will be easier for us to factor out a 5. We know that 5 times 9 will give us 45, and 5 is a prime number, but 9 is not. It is still a composite number, and we know that 3 times 3 will give us 9, and there you have it right there. The prime factors of 45 are 3 times 3 times 5, and there we are right there. All numbers, composite or prime, their first factor is 1, so we just put 1 there just to ground us into our understanding of this concept. And so now what we're going to do, we're just going to circle only the shared prime factors that 27 and 45 have, and of course they have 1 in common, so we're going to bring down the 1. We're going to circle the ones, but we're just going to bring down the 1 just to let us know that they have a 1 in common. Both numbers have a 3 in common, so we're going to circle that column and bring down the 3. And they have another 3 in common, so we're going to bring down that 3. Notice that there are 2 3s here and 2 3s here, and so that's why they have those 2 3s in common. However, the 27 has an additional 3. We're not going to circle that because we're only going to circle the ones that they have in common. And 27 does not have a 5, but the 45 does. So we're just going to leave that right there because we're only going to circle the shared prime factors. Then we're going to multiply those factors. And as you can see, 1 times 3 will give us 9. So the greatest common factor that 27 and 45 have in common is 9. The good news is that we get to use these same prime factors for the least common multiple. The least common multiple is kind of like this. If I were to count by 27, and then if I were to count by 45, what is the first number that they share together when counting by 27 and when counting by 45? And so we're going to use those same factors, 1 times 3 times 3 times 3 for 27, and 1 times 3 times 3 times 5 for 45. Now what we're going to do in this case, we're going to circle all the columns. And so we're going to circle the 1 right here, bring down the 1, circle the 3s right here, bring down the 3, circle the 3s here, bring down the 3. And there's a lonely 3. Yes, nonetheless, we're going to bring it down. And there's a lonely 5. We're going to bring that down as well. And when you multiply these factors together, 3 to the 3rd power, or 3 cubed times 5, that answer is going to give us 135. So when you count by 27, eventually you're going to get to 135. And when you count by 45, you're going to get to 135 as well. This is why it's the first common multiple that they have in common, or the least common multiple that they have in common. And this is how the least common multiple works. counting by 27 and then counting by 45, and what number do they run across that is the same. The greatest common factor, on the other hand, is, well, what is the highest number that can both be divided into 27 and 45? You have been given a lot of information, so this would be a good time to pause the video if you need to, or replay this video as many times you need to gain a deeper understanding of the meaning of both the greatest common factor and the least common multiple. But not to worry, there are more videos on the way. But in the meantime, please comment, share, like, and I do repeat, like and subscribe to Jackson's Math Notebook for more content. Thank you and goodbye.